morning.
Morning.
I was working on my senior page a few nights ago, and I was going through some old photos of myself from freshman year, and it hit me. It really hit me. My days at Brooks are numbered. It's going to be really, really hard to leave this place. Writing shout-outs to the friends and faculty I've come to form close bonds to. I was almost on the verge of tears, knowing that many of these friends that I've become so close to over the past 4 years, I may not see for a long time, or perhaps ever again. I'll admit that I have some degree of OCD, as I had the screen zoomed in on all the pictures, scrupulously moving each of them, one by one across the page, pixel by pixel. It was a bit past 10 o'clock when I finished, and so I began the legendary walk across campus to the gym. You know what I mean? We've all done it 1,000 times. This time, though, I had quite the experience on this journey to my car on the other end of campus. This normally 2 to 3 minute walk became a 15-minute trek. Being in a nostalgic mood, I began looking at everything around me with a different perspective. My strides shortened to inches as I was making my way up the small hill past the library. I came to a sad realization that there aren't going to be too many more walks like this. A nice, peaceful walk where you're accompanied only by yourself. A walk where you can admire the quietness and pristine campus of Brooks on a spring evening. I started to reminisce about all the experiences of the past 4 years. Every step reminded me of a different chapter in my life at Brooks. I never thought that as a freshman that one day I'd be a big senior, walking around campus late at night, being the last student to leave, and really being able to call Brooks home. Now I'm here giving a chapel talk in the final stretch of my last quarter of my Brooks career. It seemed just like yesterday that my dad and I were driving down on Bradford Street my freshman year, talking about how fast my experience at Brooks will pass me by, and it has. I'm out of here in 39 days, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to let go just yet. I just want to say that Brooks School is a completely different place at 10 o'clock at night, when no one is outside, with only the crickets to accompany you on the walk across campus. Under these instances, you're really able to think, reflect, and see Brooks for what it is. Walking down this memory lane, I could just picture myself from different years, either performing piano in the dulcimer, playing wiffle ball or frisbee behind Whitney and Thorne, having a class outside the library, or coming out of a great chapel or school meeting. The strides on my trip to the gym that night went from feet to inches as I really began to think of all the funny times I've had on just this street alone. Walking up the hill past the library, I could remember the time freshman year I was scootering down the hill. I was flying across campus, trying not to miss class, but also trying not to miss breakfast. Not sure which one was more important. I was holding my gym bag and handlebar, both with my right hand, and a breakfast sandwich in my left. I was going to Mr. Hoffman's English class. As I proceeded down the hill, I admired a sight I had never seen before, Ginkgo Day. Making my way down the hill, I had no idea how slippery ginkgo leaves were. As I turned my head to greet Mrs. Becker, I remember flying into the air and rolling down the hill, losing everything. But somehow, I'm still not sure how I did this, I held on to that sandwich. It was a good day. As I continued my walk past the auditorium, I fondly remember the time I was chasing Jimmy Campbell down the hill, leading to the student center to get some muffins at the school meeting, only to slip on some mud, eventually sliding chin first into the railing, which would leave me waking up, lying on the ground, surrounded by a concerned group of fellow peers. Come to think of it, I've a lot of memories of wiping out on stage. I remember how I was here when they changed the old gym into the squash courts and rowing teams, and how I would wait for my ride every night on that stone wall that leads to the parking lot. Every time I go into that gym, the first thing I do is picture how it was the first time I walked in freshman year, and how much the campus has changed. It's incredible to see just how much you changed along with Brooks during your time here. There are just so many memories where each landmark has its own set of special times. When I got to the gym and went inside to get my gym bag from the locker room, more memories just kept pouring into my head. From lifting over the summer with Monson and Colin, messing around in the wrestling room with Duffy, O'Boyle, and Zach, and the fun times I had with Mikey at the ball club. Or just hanging out with Alex shooting some NBA three-pointers on the basketball court. But I never thought that as a freshman that Brooks would shape me into an athlete. But it did, and now I have what is probably my favorite memory, winning the league wrestling tournament in my last match on my home mat during my senior year. So these are some of my fondest memories that I have and will cherish for the rest of my life. And I was thinking that it can't get any better than this. But it has to. Brooks has done its job. We'll miss the memories, but they'll still be here when we come back, along with all the great future memories that will be created here. It's already hard for me to imagine my life without waking up and driving to Brooks every day. But as Mr. Becker said to the seniors the other week, we've now outgrown Brooks and his tools, and it's time for us to move on. We've got to go, but we also have to come back and give back to this incredible school and this wonderful tradition. It's tough to even end this speech, because perhaps it'll be the last time that I'll be up on this podium addressing the people in here that I've come to know and love. This is it for the seniors, and this is it for me. And for the rest of you, your time will come, hopefully. In closing, I love you guys, and I'll never forget Brooks and what it did for me. So I'll see you at Prize Day. 38 days, 50 hours, 11 minutes, and 52 seconds. Thank you.